The lady who packs the lunches knows me very well. She was telling another Indian woman who was there for the first time. The white lady was like, he's a potato chip monster. She gave me 2 of these. After looking at different options, they had a kettle cooked option, but that had lard. And there was a jalapeno one that I already knew had milk in it because I looked at the ingredients online. But these don't have salt. I ate 1 bag yesterday, but today she gave me 2 bags because I'm about to go to work. But I have salt and pepper right here, and I have ketchup and 2 things of Arby's sauce. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. You can do it with Pepsi. You can do it with Pepsi. 80s rock. And then when you say you can do it, the camera zooms into you a whole bunch while you're pointing at the camera. So I'm gonna talk a little bit loud because there's some copyright music. So what happened this morning was that there was a mentally deranged man last night, actually November 10th, who was yelling about a girl at night and early in the morning. People were telling him to shut up and get some sleep. And then one of the security came in and he was like, you got to go downstairs if you're going to be talking. And that guy who was crazy, he was like, no. And he was like flailing his arms around and hitting it on the guardrail between his bed and somebody else because he was on the top bunk. And people were looking at him weird. And I was looking at other people like, what's his deal? And even when I try to avoid conflict, it still occurs. Like, I'll say this, when we came outside downstairs, he was still yelling about stuff and throwing stuff on the ground. And then there was somebody else, who was not in our dorm. There was so the guy who was going crazy, he was like white, Latino, Italian, mixed or something, because I spoke to him before. And there was a black guy who was like, you better pick your stuff up off the floor. This was in the locker room. And the black guy was like, if I got to step over it, there's going to be a problem. Then the crazy guy started slamming his stuff and screaming, rah, 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 when I have to deal with this. And then the black guy was like, that shit don't scare me. They were both missing a lot of teeth. And then the black guy actually started walking towards the crazy guy saying, back the fuck up. And then he wised up quickly and started walking out. And then I stood by the door leading outside to the yard. And the guy was still screaming and stuff. And the black guy was in front of him. The black guy was like, you better find a kid to go play with, because I'm a grown ass man, or something like that. That was before they walked out. And yeah, that like, even when I try to avoid conflict, that's why that the little time that I'm here, you see how much conflict still occurs. So also when I sleep in, I'm allowed to sleep in till 12. Everyone else gets up at 6 a.m. They have to leave their bed. But it's like, even when I sleep in, there was a janitor who came in today and he cut the lights on. And then when he left the lights on. Like, that's why I'm so eager and so excited to leave this shelter and live alone again. So, like, I need to talk. I need to talk about this really quick. Yesterday, I encountered this really big white girl yesterday, and it was at a specific place that I mentioned earlier. And I'm in the process of like becoming a volunteer during the daytime since I work at nights, and it's 4:11 and I start work at 4:45. So it was a specific place I mentioned earlier. And I just want somewhere to volunteer so I can stay busy for the day. And they have free breakfast and lunch. It was amazing. I'm going to have a video on that because I recorded some of that. You guys will get an idea. But there's 2 main reasons. I want to say this first. There's 2 main reasons why I like bigger women. Number 1 is because I would say generally their standards are lower. And second, and they're more likely to go for me since their standards are lower. And they don't have as wide of a pick of guys. And I guess second off, because in a lot of cases, even though they are bigger in general, I like when that ass still sticks out. with bigger girls, because some girls are big, but the ass still sticks out, and that's something I absolutely love. My standards aren't super high as long as they're chill, and as long as they're goofy. Like my thing is, I'm really just looking to have a lot of sex, and go places with a woman, and cuddle. I guess cuddle a lot. So, but there was one really big white woman where this was the case, and she was sort of in front of me getting something, and like she went out of her way to help me, and that is that's something I noticed, that like the white women who are on the bigger side, they're very kind to me. Like they smile a lot when they're talking to me. They smile a lot more, and they're like more kind. I guess I already said that, but I feel like the type of girls that can get white guys that are like higher up in the social ladder, like the skinnier white girls and stuff, they are not as kind. Of course, the cheerleaders that I met when I met the Colts, those ones are very kind, but those are media professionals. One like the type of skinny white girls that look like Sabrina Carpenter or like Taylor Swift. I would have to wish upon a star to have a chance of getting with a girl like that, but I'm still open to try. I mean, people are getting together all the time, and forever. They've been doing it forever, but that's not even really my type. I like larger. Having an ass doesn't hurt. I'm not going to get upset if she doesn't have it, but I like it larger if possible. So yeah, I'm just about to go into work, but yeah, I guess for now I usually tend to stick to porn because I guess I'm just more used to women not being super into me. That's kind of why I'm not as aggressive with my pursuits, because I usually just like to leave something alone if I don't think it'll work out. I've I guess it's because I've always been an introvert. That's what I lean more towards, just going back to silence, I guess. I'd rather leave prematurely when the girl could have been interested, rather than to keep on pursuing when it's unclear and then she's not interested, right? I'm more likely to fall into the first category, where she could have been, but I just don't know because I cut the cord early. Like usually I'm used to them not being super into me. Like usually I won't be the center of her attention. Her attention might be diverted between multiple guys, or a woman might just be bored. Like I could go up to her and it could have been any guy who went up to her, and that could have worked. But there was also women who were interested. I think I can count on one hand the amount of times that women have like wanted intimacy with me without like me taking them out on a date or paying for something. Or actually, let me think about it. I think because I don't want this copyrighted music to tank my shit, but I think it I think it actually might be more than five, but it's definitely not more than 10. So I'm not super experienced, and I know that's plenty ammunition for alpha males to make fun of me. But that shit is dead, and I'm glad that like I don't have people in my comments like that anymore, because there was somebody. I'm going to get into that later, but yeah. In the meantime, it's good for me to stick to porn because I guess porn is always there for convenience. I can just like watch it whenever I want, but interacting with people is also great too. Like I don't lean towards just one thing, and like I can just focus on learning what I like specifically, and like developing that. It's a really good opportunity to like discover yourself rather than just like wait for someone else. And like to always focus on just pleasing someone else. But let me see, in the because like in 10 years I might be able to, I will definitely be able to access porn because there's a business and stuff behind it. But I don't know what my relationship will be like. I'll most likely have someone, but the thing I want you guys to understand is that it's not a rush. That's what one of my haters did not understand. I guess what I would want is just something consistent, but like, here's the thing. On one hand, there's nothing wrong with someone wanting to have intimacy. It's something people have been doing since the beginning of time, and we shouldn't really alienate like people or shoot them down if they're trying to find ways to make themselves more attractive. or if they have a growth mindset, especially, or if they're worried about the fact that they're not getting attention from their desired mate as of now. Maybe they just need to look into it a little deeper. But at the same time, let's not make someone feel like they're a better person because they are getting women or something like that. Like at the homeless shelter, there's a lot of guys with ankle monitors, and I would say probably every single one of them is dealing with a woman in some way. Like even if they stop talking to their child's mother, they're talking to another woman or something like that. I remember several months ago there was somebody who was the person I was going to talk about, one of my haters. He was upset at women due to his lack of finding a mate, and that whole ideology is just going to set you back further, because why was he so busy hating on me and commenting underneath my videos when he could have put that energy into at least trying to talk to women? Like, he already decided to give up on that. Like, don't pedestalize them, obviously, and don't pedestalize guys who can attract them, but always be willing to try and reach your goals. Like a guy who gets women, a lot of women's choices are not like based on logic. I mean, they there's a lot of women who are getting with guys who have those type of warrants. There was one guy who was kicked out of his place with his people, and he had to sleep in a hallway at a hotel. He was telling me this, and then he got trespassed from there. Then he was living at a hotel for a bit, and he was like vaguely saying how he was bringing B words in and out of there. I didn't specifically ask like about how many women have you been having sex with, because that's so weird. Like, it was just normal conversation. But yeah, you don't have to blame yourself. It could just be women's choices. It's not the guy. Oh, he gets women, he must be better than me. He must still be better than me. It could be just that you might be, you as the guy. Could I'm I could even say maybe I'm out of those women's leagues. I might be like too good for certain women, so that's why they're with those type of guys. And like, you might just have to wait a little bit. But that ideology that this hater had was like holding himself back. But like, yeah, just always be willing to try and reach your goals. And I say that because I deleted and reinstalled Hinge multiple times, and I think I might be shadow banned because I don't get any notifications anymore. But I wouldn't be surprised if people just weren't responding. It just seems really weird though. However, I'm getting attention on other apps. I myself am more on the queer side, so a lot of women who like me are queer women themselves, and I actually like that. I would prefer women to be like more open to that. And there was a light-skinned woman who like came in here. This place is empty until she came in. It was several minutes ago, but she was sitting back there. That's why I was worried if she would hear me or something. Cause oh yeah, that was coming in through this way in the reflection. That's why you might have seen me looking over there.